It's me, Westcoast Rob, man, and welcome to my podcast, You Bitch.
You are now listening to YeahDat, the podcast, hosted by Westcoast Rob.
All right, folks, before we get started, the thoughts, views, and opinions that you may hear on this episode are just that. Thoughts, views, and opinions, not from just myself, but from my guests. So if you get offended by them or just simply don't like them, well, there's a simple solution to all that, and that's just stop listening. But if you care to partake in the conversation, well, then just tune in. YeahDat. All right, folks. Thank you again for tuning in to another episode of YeahDat, the podcast, hosted by yours truly, Westcoast Rob. We're on episode number 7 this week, man. YeahDat. So big shout out to all those of you out there who continuously listen every time an episode's drop, man. I truly appreciate you guys so much for it. Thank you for the constant support and love. So in the last episode, we went over 2021. You know, it was a brand new year. It was the first podcast of the new year. So I wish everyone a happy new year. Hope you guys had a good holiday season. And we just went over 2021 and people's expectations of 2021. If they really think it's going to be any different from 2020. My opinion was, well, you know, everyone is just coming into 2021 like, oh yeah, 2021, let's go. Like, everything just reset and we're back to normal, like it's BC, you know what I'm saying, before Corona. But it's just everything that was in 2020 continuing on into 2021. It's just everybody's more accustomed to the new set of parameters that we have to deal with, like mask and social distancing and whatnot. But in the last episode, we go into where we talk about the new year and what you guys are expecting, why everybody was just so hyped to get into 2021, etc., etc. So if you're interested in that, then tune into the last episode, and you know, it can be found on all major podcast platforms, man. As of today, though, for this episode or this week or whatever, the new episode, I got a guest on today. So the original guest, excuse me, I'm a little congested. I got allergies, excuse me. But on the last episode, I was talking about the guest I was going to have on this episode, which that fell through. And, you know, the guest I was supposed to have on, he gave me this serious answer, but then following up on him on IG, because I follow him, he follows me and shit, it seems sketch. So I don't know. That kind of fell through the wayside, but it doesn't matter. I got a better guest on this time. I got my homie Big Pauly, and since I've known this dude has been very straightforward, opinionated guy. You know, he's really educating himself right now with the tools he needs to not only better himself, but, you know what I'm saying, take care of his family. He's, you know what I'm saying, he's really big into the business scheme of things and analytics. So this episode, we go over analytics, business, fitness industry, inside the fitness industry that people may not know. We go over, what else do we go over? We go over motivation, and then just an array of topics that are very interesting. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, because I know I did. This is actually part 1 of sitting down with Paul. Man, he's a real knowledgeable guy, and he's real straightforward. So a lot of you guys will appreciate his points of views and his advice when it comes to analytics and social media platforms and such, man, because he's kind of been there, done that. Very humble, veteran. So tune in to the episode, and like always, please make sure you follow on all platforms. Please rate, like, subscribe to the podcast, because ain't no stopping, man. Ain't no stopping anytime soon, man. So please, without further ado, enjoy the episode of my sit down with my homie Paul O. And I'll catch you guys on the back end. YeahDat.
All right, man.
What's up, bro?
How you doing?
Well, I'm good.
Thanks for, I guess, asking me to do this.
Hey, man, it was inevitable, bro. You know what I'm saying? It was inevitable. You're very opinionated. Ever since I've known you, you've been very opinionated. And it was only a matter of time, homie.
Yeah, man. I just finished actually listening to your last episode. I was doing cardio today. Perfect time to listen to it. So I like the way, I've been encouraging you and trying to support you along the way. So, I'm liking what you're doing, man. I'm very proud of you. Very proud of you.
I appreciate
Yeah,
that,
man.
homie. Can't wait for you to start yours, bro. I know you want to
Oh,
start one, you know
man.
what I mean?
Yeah, man. I'm busy. Not a good excuse, right?
Nah,
But
that's all good.
I have a lot going on, so it's finding time. Time is the big thing.
Hell yeah, for real.
But I would
So,
love to, man. It would be I think it would be kind of cool.
yeah, and you'd be like perfect for it, man. Just your mentality and how you are, you'd be perfect for it.
Yeah, I think you talked about it in one of the other episodes. Going back, people starting it. I think
Yeah,
we've both known people, mutual mutual friends, people that we served with. I know people that I had met over here in Virginia
yeah,
that started it, and it's kind of, sometimes it to me it's man, it's like, okay, everybody's doing it.
right,
What are you going to do that's different?
right.
That's always the big thing in my mind. What are you doing that's different? How are you going to change something? It was the same thing for me with like fitness, the fitness
Mm-hmm.
Instagram thing. We both have talked about that
Yeah,
a lot, even if we haven't. I'm sure we're going to get to it. We were out of touch for a little while there, but we talked about
yeah,
it before. Everybody's doing the same thing, so you have to bring something new to the table. I always tell people I'm not some social media person. I don't have like a ton of followers. I'm super private now. But you have to, if you're not charismatic, if you're not well spoken, if you don't have the look, I don't believe you're going to really do much in this field
yeah.
or in what you're trying to do. You got to bring something. Everybody has an opinion. Not everybody should be allowed to share it, kind of thing, right?
Hell yeah,
You
for
hear
real.
that quite a bit. So that bringing it all back for me, I look at myself as like, I don't know, would I want to listen to me? That's my thing, right?
Yeah,
I enjoy listening to other people, but I don't know. A podcast would be pretty cool to do it with a team.
yeah,
If you had a partner
yeah,
to have these discussions with, right? Like
yeah.
Skip, like Skip
Skip
and
and Shannon.
Shannon kind of thing. They play so well off each other. Imagine that in a podcast. I mean,
Yeah.
I think they do have their podcast. It would work really well. But I don't know. Maybe I'm tone deaf in that aspect. But
Well, shit. Then
I'm liking what y'all are doing.
I mean, if that's what you're thinking, man, we need to talk offline then, there, buddy.
Oh, okay.
You know?
We'll talk offline.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. We'll plan some things. We'll talk offline. You
yeah.
know? Well,
This
as we
won't
get
make
into
this
this,
won't make
man.
the cut.
Yeah, So, but this will be just breaking ground, so you can get your feet wet, so we can move on into other ventures. You know what I'm saying? We'll just take it from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're gonna be. I don't want to like say too much, but closer in proximity, right?
Yes, sir.
I don't want
Yes,
to say
sir.
where I'm at currently, but we're gonna be close. I know.
My man.
Yeah.
So just introduce yourself for those out there listening, man.
Well, my name is Paul. Man, Rob, when did we meet?
Sure, I don't know.
I don't know. It's been
2000,
15,
2014.
14, 14,
14. Yeah.
14. So it's six,
Yeah.
7 years almost.
Yeah.
And we were stationed together. There's really not much else to introduce, man. I'm just a regular guy with a family.
Veteran, man. You understand?
Veteran. Yeah, veteran.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
I am a veteran. I still have close ties with the military, of course,
Yeah,
but
yeah. You're being
just
modest.
a yeah, just a family man, you know.
Yeah. Well, he's being modest. He's a fucking veteran. You know what I'm saying? He's served in the fucking United States military, did his time. He's gotten out, and now he's working, for the government still. You know what I mean? He's a fucking
Yeah,
bodybuilding enthusiast. He loves fucking the golden era of bodybuilding, which most bodybuilding connoisseurs love nowadays, but more so that's more so trending. But this guy, along with myself, are like genuine fans of the era. You know, he's been,
absolutely.
you know, what I mean,
Yeah,
he's been fucking posting shit. He's all about it, bro. He's all about it.
I
So he's
used to
being
be.
modest.
I am. Yeah. Well, I figure we'll get into like my backstory, or
Yeah,
a
yeah,
little bit, you know.
yeah, for
But
sure.
it's like for those veterans that are listening, those active duties. It's like writing an eval. It's kind of hard to talk about yourself sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
It's really difficult. Right? 3 bullet points would talk about it, but no, yeah. We'll get into all of that. But you touched on it, man. The I don't know if you have certain points to discuss, but I'm just going with it. You talk about the golden era and
Yeah,
the new wave of bodybuilders and the new fans, and man, isn't that? I think that's a huge peeve of mine.
yeah.
So something we're going to get into it. I got out in 2018, and as I got out, I was actually on terminal leave. I started working at GNC. So I was still active, dude. I had like a month of terminal leave available to me. I was working
Mm-hmm.
at GNC. I want to say 4 months later, 5 months later, I started working for a small company in the Virginia area, the Nutrition Corners. So I
Mm-hmm.
was selling supplements, right? And that's a company that is owned by Doug Miller.
Yep,
So people in the fitness industry should be familiar with Doug.
yep,
He
yep.
owns Core Nutritionals. He owns America Labs. He's
Mm-hmm.
part owner of Arms Race Nutrition. And I don't want to, yeah, he's part owner of Arms Race Nutrition along with Julian Smith.
Yeah,
And so I got to see a side of the fitness scene that not everybody gets to see. Being in that industry, selling supplements and being around certain people, you got to see some things. And it was so off-putting to me. Great company to work for. This has nothing to do with the company. It was just being in that scene and seeing people come in every day, people that were influencers or wanted to be influencers, and just the toxicity in the fitness industry right now. And I don't even want to call it the industry, just it's a scene. Those everyday gym goers, or the Gymshark athletes. No offense to Gymshark, but
haha.
stuff like that. The alpha. There's a growing group of people, man, and it really turned me off into the fitness to the fitness scene, and getting into the fitness industry. I guess
Yeah,
I didn't want any. Luckily, I found a new career path for the time being that is exponentially better for me and my family. But yeah, I was there I did that for almost 2 years before I got a year and a half, I guess,
yeah,
before I switched, took the opportunity I did. But man, Rob, we haven't had a chance to talk about it.
yeah.
But man, you hear some things and some backroom stuff, and man, it's crazy. It is
Right.
insane. Really crazy stuff, man.
Yes, I mentioned you. I had a guest on. I forgot who the guest was. I think it was James Mooney. But I
It
mentioned
was.
you.
I remember. I know
Yeah,
exactly what you're gonna say. Yeah.
yeah, and I mentioned you how you were on the ends of the industry. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Doug Miller, he's a Hall of Fame natural bodybuilder. He has his own very successful nutrition supplement brand. And Paul had to work, or he got to work in close proximity to Doug Miller, so he got the ins and outs, like you said. For with that opportunity that was afforded to you, so you got to know the ins and outs. You got to see a lot of shit that a lot of consumers out there don't get to see. Wouldn't like for most people that would be like I don't know, kind of like a boost, like, oh yeah, fuck it, now I want to do this shit. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
what is it that made you not want to go in that route per se?
Well, they, the company, when you work for a small business like that, and Doug was the owner, but your general manager,
Yeah.
who was another, I don't want to mention his name, but he was
Yeah. Yeah. No.
another natural bodybuilder. He
Mm-hmm.
was in the bodybuilding scene for a very long time too, and they definitely push that aspect. Like you're in the fitness and you're seeing you're the inside. They want to cultivate that, like that motivated team, right?
Yeah.
For me though, it wasn't just the toxicity. There's some things I'll talk to you about it offline.
Yeah.
Sorry
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
your
Of course.
listeners, but that's just, I'm not gonna, I'm not trying to throw nobody under the bus, but it just
Yeah.
wasn't the right situation for me. And really from a financial aspect, along with that toxicity in the fitness scene, it was definitely a huge, it was a financially, it was a big reason for me to step away from that and take the opportunity I did. But the things that you're right, man. There's people that would come in and like, are y'all hiring? I want to be a part of this team. I get to
Mm-hmm.
see some of the guys they had plans to go to the Arnold last year, obviously with the shutdown. That didn't
Mm-hmm.
happen, but we had a big fitness event every year called the Nut Bash. Athletes would come out.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I've
you
seen your
know,
videos.
yeah, it was really cool stuff. It's a lot of fun. There was some fun things, but you're dealing with, at the end of the day, you're in sales,
Yeah.
and but it was such a friendly environment that sometimes you had a lot of customers that would come in and gossip, rumor mill. Nothing for me personally. I was very professional and quiet, and I was me. I was the manager when I was at the store, and some people went to the same gym as me, but I was very private. Work was work.
Yeah.
But other times, you get in. Some people can get involved with it, and you start to hear the things, and a lot of snakes. A lot of people that they're very loud in the store. They're telling you these things, and then you see them, the next day or a week later, they're dealing with it, and that's you deal with that everywhere. But
Yeah.
it seems prevalent in this industry, in that scene. So
Yeah. It
I
seems
just
like
didn't
it,
like
man.
it, man. Just didn't like it. It wasn't for me. I'm also older than a lot of the clientele that was coming in,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe that attributed to it. I have no idea, but
Shit, a lot
a
of that
lot,
stuff
man.
you were accustomed to in the being in the military, though.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Oh man, yeah, absolutely. The pay was better in the military though, so and it's not even that good. It's not even that great, but that's how it was. Civilian life really was eye opening. But yeah, you do get accustomed to it. But yeah, I want to touch on that aspect of you do get some insight. If you want to continuously pursue it, anybody that's out there that that's going to listen to this and they want to, man, I want to get into how do I get a step in. I started at a GNC. I got an opportunity to work with a small business that is growing, and they're growing pretty quickly, and it's a great company to work for. Great company. Doug is a great owner, general manager, the assistant general manager. All the guys are great, and you do you do get some opportunities. You do get to meet certain people, and you meet. The cool thing was, I'll talk about the positives more so. The cool thing was like you had a lot of small companies that would come in, and I'm calling them companies, but it was a guy who just wanted to start a supplement, and he would come into the store and he's like, "Here, try my product. Let me know what you think." It was that happened to me a few times. It was constantly happening, and being able to be honest with these people and help them. Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. Your product kind of sucks right now. Why is you're almost ripping people off based on what you have in here,
Yeah.
and kind of helping them. It was a little brutal for them. I'm sure they put a lot of time and effort into some of their supplements, but you're explaining to them what's a mover, what's going to move the needle here. And that was really cool part of it, meeting people like that. And then, when we would have the big events, Mark Lobliner came down to the store,
Mm-hmm.
to one of the stores in Virginia Beach. We had at the Nut Bash, we had a lot of big names. Julian Smith was a big one because he's close friends with Doug. They're in business
Yeah.
together.
I seen Mike Rashid was one of them.
I was sitting right next to Mike Rashid. I want to say this: he's not as big as I thought he was.
For when I met Mike Rashid in
He's
like
not.
2015 at a UFC, and he's he's not as big as everyone thinks, but he's still big.
Yeah, he's a big
Easily
guy.
like 240. Easy.
Yeah, he was. Well, he was. Well, when I saw him, he was lean. He hadn't been lean. He was leaned out, Rob. I'm gonna tell you right
Okay.
now.
All right. All right.
But then we had like Steve Kuklo there, and Steve Kuklo's calves are bigger than
Yeah.
everybody else.
Of
He was,
course. Yeah,
we
yeah.
had some of the,
King
we had
snap.
some big time. Yeah, we had some big time guys there. So that was cool getting to meet them and talking to them. I remember talking to John Meadows. I got to talk to John Meadows for a little bit.
Oh,
And
okay. That's what's up.
awesome guy, right? Real nice, very knowledgeable. But it
Yeah.
was cool seeing, and this is where you're kind of rubbing shoulders with these guys, and maybe not everybody's familiar with John Meadows. If you're into fitness, you're into bodybuilding, familiarize yourself with John Meadows. He's awesome. There's just so much knowledge. He's also the guy training Rough Diesel, or he's working with Rough Diesel. I know. I forget the other guy's name. Hypertrophy
Joe
coach.
Bennett.
Yeah,
Joe
Joe
Bennett.
Bennett. So John Meadows and Joe Bennett working with him. So that's cool. John Meadows was asking for my opinion and a couple of the other guys that work there. He's trying to launch something. And so we gave him like our opinions and what we thought, because he was trying to cater to like a younger crowd. That's cool. That kind of stuff is cool when you have those events. I think looking back on it, getting out of that industry, the pandemic probably played a huge factor. There was multiple factors, right? I have a family. I had my daughter at that time was, she was just born, and she was 5 months, 6 months when I left. And my focus was, now I need to secure something for my family. I need to be able to provide. So that was one huge factor for me moving on. But not to say that they didn't have opportunities. It's a lot of cool stuff, man. And if anybody that's really passionate about it and they want to do it, you start from the bottom rung of the ladder. You got to, work your way up and see what can happen. There was guys I met that were, I'm not sure what you call them, but they would come around. They were the reps for the companies. Mm-hmm. So, we had reps that would come and talk to us. And I mean, you can work your way into being a representative for one of these, for Allmax, for America Labs, for there's a lot of companies out there.
Yeah.
Those are the ones I'm familiar with. For Steel, for whatever company it is, you can go be a rep for them and just travel a region and talk to these stores that sell their products and be like, yo, this is what we got coming out. How's everything? Da 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 da. Mm-hmm. You're building relationships. So it's easier than you think. You just got to go for it, like just like anything else, right? Yeah, they're reps. They're public relations for, I got to go visit my store in Georgia, and then my store in Mississippi, and then in northern Florida, and I own that region. I got to make sure that my clients are taken care of. That's actually, it didn't seem that difficult to get into. People are probably coming and going all the time. And if people want to get in, that seems to be the big thing, right? Everybody wants to be in the fitness industry. There's more to it than just being an influencer on social media, because the truth is, I think that scene is dead, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's posting the same workouts. I mean, if you've seen a lat pull down from one person, you've seen it from everybody. I mean, it's a lat pull down. You're showing me the videos of a lat pull down, and I was in that. I wanted to do that too. I wanted to show people like, oh, this is what I do. But I was just taking certain ideas from other people and recycling the same thing. There's nothing new to it, right? Yeah, you can improve your camera, but there's more to it than just showing your workouts and showing the same selfie, same. I don't want to target the guys that are showing the same most muscular and the females that are showing the same booty pic. There's more to it than that. There's a lot of opportunities out there if you want to really get into the fitness industry. Don't worry about being sponsored. Go work for them. They'll give you supplements and they'll pay you. They won't just give you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go work for them. What are you doing in your job? Oh, I'm fucking bag groceries somewhere. Or, I don't know. Work somewhere else. Then go work for that company. They're going to pay you and you'll get supplements. Now you get to double dip on the company. There's just more opportunities that people aren't aware of to get involved in that. So they should take advantage of it.
And a lot of people, I guarantee a lot of people aren't thinking of that. They're not thinking of, well, let me go and try and work for this company. More so they're thinking like, well, how can I be sponsored by them, or how can I'm gonna be an ambassador, so I can get in with the company and put it in my handle or whatever. But the insight of actually working for them and then getting like you said, double dipping, like that's a point of view that people nowadays, or the generation nowadays, aren't even taking into consideration.
No, yeah, you like that's one of the things that I picked up on. It's like, man, everybody wants to be handed something
Yeah.
because you have X amount of followers, and it's kind of like, go work for them. I don't understand it. At the same time, I still follow some fitness pages on my social media,
Hmm.
and this is another thing that I try to tell people about, because so give you a little bit more background on what I'm currently doing. I am going to, I do have my job, my government job still, and I am going to school full time for business management, or business marketing. I actually haven't made my mind up yet, but I need to soon. But I want to do. I kind of like the marketing aspect of it,
Hmm.
and I have a few friends that are in the marketing area. Some of them are focused on social media marketing, and we talk about it a lot. You see a lot of people with 5,000, 10,000, 30,000, 100,000 followers, but they have no engagement.
Right.
I remember speaking to somebody who had quite a bit of followers. They were at like the 400, 500,000 mark. And this was a few years ago. And the guy's name was Chris Elkins. Are you familiar with Chris Elkins?
Yeah, yeah. Cutting edge physiques. I follow that dude.
Yeah, yeah. I used to follow. So this was when I was really trying to get into it. I reached out to him and I got into work. He came to Virginia. He was from Virginia Beach.
Yeah, I
And
remember that
he's from
video
Virginia.
you worked out together.
Yeah, we worked out together, and he was talking to me about, doing the influencer thing and, gaining followers. And he always said, he's like, I'm shooting for on average 15% engagement. 20% engagement would be incredible. So I always took that with me. I was like, man, it's okay. He talked about other influencers, and I'm using the air quotes. I
Yeah.
don't. I guess that's the term to use, right? I mean, I
Yeah,
know they
yeah.
have other jobs, but we'll call them influencers. I had a really good relationship with Julian Smith as well. One, I went to him for like coaching, and I was following Julian Smith before he was the quad guy kind of thing, right?
Hmm.
And so we've always remembered each other, which is cool. He says the same thing. You want a large engagement, but that engagement eventually goes away. I see people that are trying to be influencers and you get 2% engagement. That is telling. And if you're getting like 2% engagement, then you got to do something different, right? And again, I will say this, I am not somebody that has hundreds of thousands of followers. I think I have 22 followers. I have a private page now, and super private.
Yeah.
But I do have a good amount of knowledge when it comes to people that want to do this social media thing. You need to pay attention. It's analytics. It's statistics. It's analytics. It's all of that. You got to pay attention to what you're doing. This is what the cream of the crop has told me, and this is what if the evidence is. Go pay attention to your favorite influencer, your favorite person. How many people are engaging in your social media post versus theirs?
Right.
If you have 100,000 followers and you're not getting 20,000 likes, and you're getting 10 to 20,000 likes on a post, that's 10 to 20%. We're doing simple math here, and you're only getting like 200, but you have 100,000. You're not reaching anybody.
Man, I say
You
that
know what
all
I'm
the
saying?
time, man. I say that all the
You are
time.
not reaching anybody.
Yep.
There's people that have 10,000 followers and they get 100 and 200 likes on their post, and it's
Yeah.
like, you're not even getting 10%. Like,
Yep.
you need to be like, that's telling, that should tell you something. You're not getting the engagement and you keep pushing it and pushing it, and you're recycling the same things. And then eventually it seems like they get to a point where, like, well, I'm just doing this for fun. It's like, I don't think you were. Maybe you are now, but you probably had a goal to start it. So
Yeah.
you got to switch things up. But that goes back to, like, I'll tie it back to like when I was talking about the podcast. If I don't bring something different, There's a lot of things that have been done. It shouldn't discourage people, and I'm not here to say that. People probably thinking this guy's like a half glass empty kind of person. Definitely not. But if you're going to do something, really put some time and thought into it, and have a plan of attack, and be fluid, be liquid in your ability to kind of morph into something else. If that's what the goal is, right? Especially in the fitness industry.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially in the fitness industry, it's always evolving, but they always see somebody new. Like that kid Tristan Lee, he came out of nowhere, right?
I don't even know who that is.
No, you don't know the Tristan Lee kid?
No,
You do. You've seen him.
maybe.
He was like 14 and he was like shredded. He looked
Oh, okay.
ridiculous. The
Okay, yeah.
Tristan Lee kid, he's big with Bradley Martin. He does a
Okay,
lot of stuff with Bradley Martin,
maybe.
but he struck when the iron was hot, right?
Yeah.
And he linked up with a lot of people. So it's also another thing. You got to who do you
Timing.
know? Timing and who do you know?
Yeah.
These kids get really hot, really they're hot and they've never been more profitable, more influential, and you link up with somebody else who's equally as profitable and equally as influential, and you boost each other up.
Yeah.
They keep You see the same people most of the time, but there's a shelf life for everything.
Yep.
There's a shelf life.
I agree.
People eventually, I'm bored with you. Who's the next guy?
Yep.
Look at you watch. Oh, you're on YouTube. You still doing a little bit of YouTube stuff.
A little bit. A little bit.
You're more focused on the podcast right now, right?
Yeah.
But everybody
Podcast.
knows Kenny. Everybody knows Kenny KO, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course.
Everybody knows Kenny, right? And like 2 years ago, he was getting a ton of views. And I was watching his video the other day, and they do different types of videos. And now I'm looking at his videos now, and he's not getting very many views. So he's now a very niche audience.
Yeah.
He used to get like 1 million views. Now he gets like 15,000. I mean, that's still pretty cool. That's a lot to me, but to him, to go from where he was at to where he's at now, a shelf life. He ran his
Yep.
course. Now everybody wants to watch Greg Doucette. Greg Doucette's the guy you want to watch.
Yeah. I
So
guess he is because I follow. There's a. I don't know if you remember this chick who used to be on the boat named Star. She was kind of like into fitness and all that, but like I follow her now because she's like on her verge to the pro card and bikini and all that. But all she does is like she'll tag Greg Doucette in everything. And I followed him for like a brief little, probably about a couple weeks because he's a pro cyclist too. So he's a bodybuilder and he's a pro cyclist, which is two
yeah,
things that I enjoy. So I started following him, but then like the stuff he was putting out, I wasn't really like keen to and all that, so I stopped following him. But I guess now everybody's on him again.
yeah, he puts out a lot of content. It's just content, and some of it's really cool. Some of it's a lot of like natty or not videos, getting kind of old.
Ah,
But he does a lot of good stuff, man. He's very knowledgeable. So
yeah,
talks about nutrition and certain types of training tips that he thinks will help. But it's just the way he breaks it down and explains it. And he's a character, but he's
it
very
is.
popular right now. Yeah, he's super. He was growing pretty quickly too within the last, I would say, like 2 years. But I pay attention to all that. I like analytics,
Yeah,
which is
of
why I
course.
want to get into marketing. I wanted to get in statistics and marketing after speaking to one of my economic professors.
Yeah,
I wanted to get into that. So I pay attention to that kind of stuff.
I know so.
And, but it's not to discourage. I mean, man, I'm going to listen to this and be like, man, you sound like an asshole.
Nah, it's
Not
all
to
good.
discourage anybody, but if it was me and I had like charisma and I had like this opportunity and I started gaining some followers and reaching out, I would just say, make sure that you are marketable in every phase that you're going through with your fitness phase. Make sure you're marketable. Make sure you're evolving. Right? You should be always evolving in life. Make sure you're doing that, and don't get stagnant. Don't get lazy. Don't
Yeah,
get lazy. That's one of the big things. So
yeah, and that I think for most that's I mean. It's the laziness and like the fear of failure. For most people, that's what kind of prevents them from achieving what they want to do. You know what I mean? Like the
You know,
motivation and all that.
what part of why I think that's true, and it's weird because I don't have, full disclosure, I don't talk to a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
and I have these ideas and these thoughts that pop into my head, and I see other people and I hear other people say certain things, and I think it's just so idiotic, and it creates this like negative reinforcement when people say, because you said failure, people say failure is not an option.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that saying. I don't know where it started from. I don't know who said it. I'm sure it's old. That's the dumbest thing, because it's obvious that you have to fail in order to see where your limits are at, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you have to. Tom Platz would say, "Go to failure. Go to true failure. You're never gonna know where you're at unless you go to like absolute failure." Arnold had a great speech, and he's like, "Don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to fail. You have to know. Don't listen to these people. If you're listening, the people that listen to this, do not listen to anybody that says failure is not an option. I don't care if it's a. I'm going to get some heat for this. It's like a Navy SEAL that says it. You have to fail in certain aspects, situations, right? Totally different.
Yeah.
You have to fail in life to see where that bar is set, so you can know where you need to get to. That's just me. That's just, I hate when people say failure is not an option. That sounds like a military thing.
I mean, it is like, but I think more
You
so
hear that in the.
now. I think more so now that people are are kind of going that route with that saying like you have to fail in order to get where you are. Because like you see the videos on fucking IG and all that shit about with the
Yeah.
celebrities doing their speeches with the failure and all that, which is a true thing. And it's just like I don't know. It's, people are just afraid to go out. Like I know a dude here locally, and he had a podcast. He did 3 episodes, and then that was it. Like he's the dude who's always like, okay, this is hot. Let me jump on this. Let me try
Hmm.
this. Woo woo woo.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm not getting as big a buzz, so let me go this route. And he's one of those dudes who has like 20,000 followers, but gets like 100 likes, and it's like that shows right there. Like full one, you either paid for those followers, or
Hmm.
two, like you're just I mean, it's just not genuine. Like people don't fuck with you like that. And I don't know. I think the motivation factor is the biggest thing, because I think people are now expecting failure to be an option. Like I know me personally, it's like with the podcast. I never thought like, all right, well, people don't fucking listen to it, then I'm just gonna stop. It's just something I fucking like to do, and it's fun. That's not a consideration for me in regards to failure or whatever. So for some people, I don't understand how it is.
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying. Like
You know what I mean?
it's like, yeah, don't take it as an option.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's okay if it's like it use it as a tool.
Right.
You have to use failure as a tool. You're not going to fail at everything, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think back to certain things in my life. For me, one of the biggest like turning points in my life in terms of my mentality was I went to rescue swimmer school,
Mm-hmm.
and I quit after I failed in evolution. I was like, man, I can't do this. Like I am not comfortable enough to accomplish the goal and to accomplish the mission. And maybe it was just a different mentality, but in looking back, it's like I should have used when I failed. I should have used that as a tool to at least let me push a little harder the next time, right?
Yeah.
Instead of just walking away from it completely. So failure was there, and I didn't. I grew from it in a different way, but at the time, I should have kept going. I should have used that as motivation. It's like, okay, now I know what I need to do. Let me push past those barriers, that wall that's there.
Yeah.
But I going into it, I guess I wasn't thinking about failing, but I knew it was going to be really fucking tough
Right. That mental
for me.
maturity wasn't there for you though then.
Absolutely, no, not at all. Like I always said, if I was like 28 and I went through that program again, I would have made it through. It would have been tough.
Yeah.
I probably would have failed at something again, but I would have gone back and corrected it in a different way, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so when I say like that's what I'm talking about, because I think it's a balance, right? I mean, we talk about people will say, well, if I don't make it or if it doesn't work out, so what? But when I look at failure as like, okay, what did I drop the ball on? What did I do that didn't let me to accomplish this? It's more of like a reflection tool, right?
Right.
I look back, hey, why did I fail that exam? I've been going to school for a couple years now. Why did I fail that exam? Why did I fail in that paper? Let me go back to the process. What did I actually do? For me, it makes me question and revisit. Did you give it everything? Did you actually apply certain things? Could you have done something different? I have to look at it from a totally different angle because during the time while I'm doing the action, whatever it is, I'm not thinking about too many things. I'm just like, let me get this done.
Yeah.
If I fail at it, I can take a step back. Okay, I'm going to do it again. What do I need to work on? And I'm not going to fail the second time. Right.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what that's how I take that. You're going to fail. I think we've all hit a roadblock in our life. And one of the biggest for me was getting out of the military. That is it. I didn't think it was as frightening as it was when I got out. There was a point when I was like, what the hell am I going to do?
Right.
I thought everything was the plan that I had didn't work out. So it was like, okay, cool. What do I got to do? Lots of bumps in the roads, lots of missed opportunities, but I just kept kind of grinding through it. But man, that was eye opening. And you would classify it. Maybe I did fail at something, but I fixed it. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, cool. That's not going to work. I got to do it like this, and I got to push through this. And it's like some things don't work out, some things did, and a couple years later, here we are. Was it? Yeah, like 2 years later.
I mean,
We're in a beautiful spot.
Where you are. Exactly.
Yeah, but I consider them certain failures that I had to go through, and I learned from it, and I pushed through it. I didn't just walk away though. I think that's where you're coming from. That option. It's like, man, I could have easily just been like, you know what? Let me just go back home. Let me go live with my mom or my dad or somebody that I know. And not to say there's anything wrong with that if you have somebody to help you, but I could have walked away from everything and just settled for less than what I wanted. But it motivated me. Cool. Let me keep going. Right.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So it's a big thing, man. Yeah. That getting out of the military was huge.
Yeah, that's a major step for those. Like a lot of people with the civilian side, they don't really understand that if they aren't around that type of environment. But that's a big step for someone who's in the military to get out and be a civilian. That's just a whole change of your lifestyle.
Yeah, I think we all know. I mean, we probably know. I don't keep in touch with anybody that we were like. Who do I keep in touch with? A few people that got out.
You suck at all that stuff, bro.
I am very bad about it. I'm very bad about keeping in touch. I think there's only one person that beats me out, and we know that's Garrison.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He hit me up the other day with text
Cat.
message. Yeah, he's worse than I am. But I'm really bad. But everybody I know that's gotten out, I think is doing really well. But I'm willing to bet they'd all tell you the same thing, unless they got out with something. I don't want to say handed to them, but with something in hand already. Like, I'm transition super smooth. Then it is. It's a scary thing. For anybody that just decided to get out early, anybody that that's going to retire, it's a totally different life. It's different. Yeah. No safety net there. No safety net.
That's what's up, man. I'm glad you're on to express that for those listeners who are in that on that route or whatever, so they can.
You know anybody right now? Yeah.
Actually, I do. Yeah, I know.
You know a few people.
A lot of cats, man. So like, I'm gonna put your handle in the description, and they can shoot you a DM.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I learned quite a bit after I got out. It wasn't during the transition out. It was after. You learn everything after you get out, right? But
as you go,
and you learn everything as you go, but there's so many opportunities out there. It's insane.
I try to
made aware of them.
I try to instill that stuff into my daughters, man. Because like my daughters my oldest is a great soccer player, and my youngest is very, very good at gymnastics. And when it
Hmm.
comes to like them, either one lost or one, like my oldest missed the goal that she could have scored, and she's like, "Oh, I missed it." I was like, "Well," I always tell them like, "Well, just learn from what you messed up. Like you lost that game, but why'd you lose it? What could you have done better to prevent that from happening?" So just take what you did or take what you learned in that game and then work on your next game and just be better. Like don't do that same mistake in the next game. And same with my youngest. My youngest is quick to be like, I can't do that. I'm like, yes, you can. Like if you already have that
Yeah.
mindset of like you're gonna go into something that you can't do it, you're not gonna do it. But you can do whatever you put your mind to, and if you don't do it, then okay, learn on how you like why what prevented you from doing that, and then just keep working at it. Don't give up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of, is that the theme for the podcast? Because we're talking about that, that learning from failure.
Yeah,
Don't just give up on it. You know, use that as a tool to learn. Use it as a learning aid. You'll
yeah,
learn a lot when you decide to self reflect. And I know it's kind of hard to probably talk to your daughters about it because they're so young still, right?
yeah,
I mean, when we're young, even as we get older, sometimes we're just like in the moment. But self reflection, take a step back, figure out, okay, what went right, what went wrong, what can I do better,
yeah,
and that's what it comes down to, right? And it should motivate you. Okay, cool. I didn't get it done. Let me put more time, more effort. If you really want to be good at something, right? And that's athletes, and being in. I'm sure that's anything though. You want to be a good writer, write. You want to be a
yeah,
good, you want to be a good golfer, hit golf shots, as 1,000 a day, ten
right.
thousand a day, whatever it is. Look at, yeah, that's what you have to do, and that's what I believe you have to do. And it's just a matter of you know what you have to do, and now it's a matter of actually doing it.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
know.
where some of,
And you
go ahead.
mentioned motivation, so it's like you know when it comes to motivation, people have their feelings towards motivation and whatnot. So I know a lot of people get motivation through the people they see on social media, the David Goggins, the Gary V, the all that stuff. You know what I mean? It's like for you personally, like what drives you and motivates you, or how do you feel about motivation and people getting it through social media, vice looking into like it themselves? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's hard to kind of look at yourself, and sometimes not everybody's self motivated,
Yeah, for sure.
and
I experience that
everybody's
sometimes.
yeah, and sometimes it's a personality trait too, right? Not
Yeah,
everybody's self motivated. There's some people that just go 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 go. I'm kind of like that. My my wife would say that that's how I am. It's like go go go, but there's a balance for me. But some people are just super, man. You don't got to tell them nothing. They're already doing it before you even
yeah,
whatever it is that they're going to do, right? For me, the motivational speakers are cool. It sometimes it pushes me when I go to the gym to train.
hmm,
The motivational videos, it's like it's a reminder. I like to listen to that as a background noise. I don't listen. Sometimes I listen to music. Sometimes I listen to like a motivational speaker to keep me going,
hmm,
to remind me. I used to do that a lot a few years ago, but over the last couple of years, a lot's changed for me. I've done a lot of like self-reflecting and taking a look at you know like my childhood trauma, and to really figure out like why I'm doing certain things and why I just act certain ways. And my motivation now, well, I mean, lots of different points of motivation. I have a daughter now.
yeah,
She's just turned a year old, and that opened me up to say, okay, what do I want for her that, or it's not what I want for her, but what is she going to need from me? And looking back on like how I was raised, and I don't know if every parent feels this way, and I feel like I've come to the conclusion that it's going to happen to me too. But I look back at how my parents raised me, and there's absolutely things they could have done better.
yeah,
That's childhood trauma. I mean, and they didn't know though.
Right.
It's not their fault. I would give them the benefit they didn't know that they were doing certain things, and we constantly evolving, right? This is the evolution of as a person. So what motivates me now is that's where I find my motivation is I look back on my life and how I grew up, and I don't want that, and that comes
Yeah.
from not just like of abundance or wealth, health as well.
Yeah.
One of the big things for me is like I look back at how I was raised. Man, rice, beans, enchiladas,
Yeah. Yeah.
all that stuff, and like that was normal. And man, I look at now. I found it somewhere. I wanted to be fit and healthy. Why? I don't know where it started from, but it probably started watching some of my older family members when I was younger and what bad a shape they were in. And I say bad shape, not like, oh, they were overweight, obese, bad in health, diabetes, heart problems, things
Yeah.
like that. What were they doing? They weren't doing anything to prevent that. That's where my health motivation, my fitness motivation comes into play.
Same. Same.
That's the reason. And I never really drew it back to that. I just used to, oh, I want to look good in a t-shirt kind of thing, or, I want to have a little bit of muscle on me. That's where the health aspect for me, and it's not just bodybuilding for me anymore. I want to be more functional. I
Yeah.
know I told you the other day, I hit you up on Instagram and I said, I've been doing more yoga,
Yeah.
make sure I'm stretched out and
Heck
I'm
yeah.
good. Doing more yoga, doing more cardio, doing more hikes with my family. We go out and we go on little walks and hikes and things like that when we can. Everything and getting checked up on. That's what you talked about on the last one, right?
Yep.
A colonoscopy. Good for
Yep.
you. How was
Yeah.
that?
Fool,
Never forget.
the worst part of that is the prep, dog. The night before
Yeah.
is the worst part because you are on a liquid diet and then you have to drink the 2 diuretic shits. So you're on the toilet all
Oh
fucking night.
yeah.
All night, dog. But the actual procedure itself, like,
Yeah.
they will you in. They're like, all right, you're gonna roll on your side. I was like, all right, cool. Roll on your side. Dude gives you the gas. Next thing you know, you're waking up and it's over, fool. And you're not
Oh, you.
sore, nothing.
Yeah, you weren't awake for it. I thought they would have kept
No,
you awake or
hell,
something.
hell no.
We got the video live feed or something,
Hell no,
Okay.
no, you're asleep for that, man. But I've been to prison, you know what I'm saying? So that ain't nothing new to me, though, you know?
I heard it and I was like, oh shit. There
Yeah,
we
man.
go. I
Yeah.
was, look, man,
No,
the
man.
prostate exams
I'm
are
all
right
about
around the
that too.
corner. You have to, man. The
Yep.
colon, and yeah. I'm
Yep.
huge on that too. Like I
Yep.
keep checking like what age am I supposed to be getting some of these things checked, right?
Yeah, and they keep changing it. So I was like, whatever. I'm just gonna do it now. Fuck it.
Might as well, yeah. Let them do what they got to do. Don't be afraid of it. Check yourself,
Exactly.
right? And that,
Yep.
man, that's one of the biggest things. I don't want to stray too far from that motivation thing, but yeah, for me, that's what it is. Like, and when it comes to
Yeah.
the health aspect, when it comes to the abundance and the financial abundance and being the security that's there, I wasn't raised like that. I wasn't
Yep.
raised to be
Same.
smart with my money.
Right.
I wasn't raised to be smart with money, and I had to learn it. It all comes back. It's all childhood trauma for me. That's my motivation.
Yeah.
I don't get motivation from David Goggins. I get
Yeah.
motivation from there's people that swear by him, right? And I'm like,
Oh
there's
yeah. I
nothing
know people.
different. There's nothing different. He's not doing anything more impressive to me than that young mom that's working 2, 3 jobs to make sure her kids are taken care of. That's
Hmm.
nothing David Goggins does is more impressive to me than what some of these young women and young men are doing to take care of their families. And
Yeah.
that's no disrespect to David Goggins. That's cool. You ran on a broken tibia or whatever it was. That's
Yeah.
great. That's cool. But that's not impressive to me. That doesn't motivate me.
Yeah.
Seeing people that, man, I came from absolutely nothing and it was a struggle for me and I got out. That's the kind of stuff that's motivating to me. Not
Yeah.
David Goggins, no offense. Gary V's cool, I guess. He says he's loud, he's blunt, but he doesn't do or say anything that I haven't heard other people before him say. He just
Yeah.
knows how to market it, just like David Goggins does. David
Hmm.
Goggins is not. You got it in you. Push through it. It's possible. Wake up at 5 in the morning and run a marathon. That's great, David. Not everybody's going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
You know, Shannon down the street has to go to work at 4 in the morning, and she's going to get off at 2 in the afternoon, and then she goes back to work at 3 in the afternoon and works until midnight.
Yep.
People are doing that
People.
every day.
Yeah. People
Look
you more
around
so can
you.
relate to.
Absolutely. Can't relate to David Goggins.
Yeah.
That's cool, but now I definitely can't relate to you, David. You're a millionaire. You are
Yeah.
not in the same. Now you're just selling something.
Yep.
Doesn't motivate me. We are not in the
Yeah.
same. We're not in the same bracket, man. Same with Gary Vee. It has some
Yep.
good advice. No, don't get me wrong, but they all regurgitate the same thing. What is their
Yep.
core message? You can do it. Don't think you can't. People have been saying that for a very, very long time. Motivational speakers have been around forever. But I get it. There's a time and a place for it. I don't want to
Yeah.
dog it, but
No, that's just being real. That's all.
people need to like, hey, look around you. There's people that are doing some things. They don't have to be out there. That's not their niche, right? They don't want to
Yep.
be on social media telling you about it. There's a lot of motivational speakers out there, a ton of them, and they're all pretty much saying the same thing.
Yep. And they
None of
don't
them are
even have
saying
to
that.
be. Yeah. They don't even have to be motivational speakers. They can just be people just doing their daily thing. You know.
Yeah, and they don't know they're doing their daily grind, and they don't know who they're motivating. But
Yep.
pay attention to them, right? Like, man,
Yeah.
you wonder how these guys do it, and they're doing it, right? That's the kind of stuff that motivates me. That's a will. That's a will
Hell
to
yeah.
want better for yourself, and for if you have a family, for your family. Um,
Yep.
that's true will. Like, you have, what does David Goggins lose if he doesn't finish that 100 miler? But what is that young girl that has 2 kids, 3 kids? What does she lose if she loses that job?
Right.
David Goggins doesn't lose shit. He
Yep.
doesn't lose anything. He can do all the crazy stuff he wants. That's not motivating. He doesn't have anything to lose. Now put something that he has to lose, and I get it. He was a SEAL. I don't know his rec. I don't know. That's cool. I've sold a lot of anabolics to SEALs, so I'm not impressed by it. Right? Cool
Yeah.
people, great dudes. They have badass jobs. They do some crazy stuff. I'm not talking about that aspect of it, right? And I know, again, I don't know, somebody's going to probably get, a little offended by it, but
Of course.
don't
Whatever.
put these people on a pedestal. There's a lot of people, everyday people. I'm very proud of like military and stuff like that. I mean, we all know some dirtbags too. Don't put military on the biggest pedestal.
Yeah.
Those
For
of us
sure.
that have been in know some of the what was that, Kirchner? So you listen to your podcast?
Fool,
That
I don't.
dirtbag. What was it? No, what was his
Fool.
name?
That yeah, Kurt.
Yeah.
Fool. That is funny that you say that because that fool works on base here. Fool.
Yo, he was.
I swear he does. Dog. Kirchner, man.
Yeah, I'm saying, yeah, that creep. Some dirt bags, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, you know.
yeah. He works with me.
There's some. Don't put everybody on a pedestal. That was in the. That's why I'm very proud like of my service, but I see some people and I'm like, man, fuck those guys, man. They were
Oh no, yeah, for
trash.
sure. Yeah, yeah,
Who?
exactly.
Let's. I'm gonna call some people out. Who was trash? Who would I catch like not doing anything? I see some of them that are like first classes now. I'm like, holy shit.
Fool. Yeah, I know. And then like I know some who are kind of like lightweight dirt bags, but now are all about it and motivated and shit. It's like, see,
Yeah,
and then
yeah, yeah.
I would hit them up like, wow, you're the one to say this. At the time, you were the one fucking doing the shit you're preaching about right now. And
Yeah.
then they're like, oh no, yeah, I know it. Now I can see it. Like, oh, okay.
Now I see it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know. And my boy Holloman, man. I'm cool with Holloman, but man, he was definitely one of those ones that was like he worked, but he definitely tried to play the rules. Who else, man? Right. I know Wright's gonna listen to this. He has to listen. He has to support you.
I don't know. Probably not. I
You
don't know.
know, that's it.
Yeah, I
I
don't
know
know.
some people. I'm gonna call them all out. Yeah, all of y'all were trash. No, Garrison. No, I'm just kidding. He was scared to do anything. He was scared to
Yeah,
do anything wrong.
no, he was scared to go against what was told to us.
Who was
You know
the
what I'm saying?
who was the here? Now we're getting back to the Navy stories. Who was the gunner, man? What was his name? The bald dude, no legs.
Gunnar Wilson.
Um,
Is Gunnar
Wilson. That
Wilson?
was Gunner Wilson. Yeah, he had like no legs. That was Gardner's dad, dude.
Oh,
Holy
I know.
crap!
That
I
dude
wish we
hated
could.
my guts, bro.
Yeah, he could not stand you.
Oh man.
I'll never forget. I set Gardner up when I left. When I left the Stennis, man, I walked in. I had my little exit meeting with Gunnar Wilson, and he was like, I hope someday, I hear that you made chief and then you became an officer because you have it in you. Da, 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 da. And I was like, oh yeah, at the time I thought I was going to do 20.
Yeah, yeah,
Different dreams, different goals change, right? And he
yeah.
was like, man, he's like, all right, I need to know who's gonna replace you. Who's the guy? And I said, Gardner, absolutely, lean on him. So I left. I don't know if they did that or not,
Oh
but
no,
I hope.
yeah, for sure they did, bro.
Well, you're welcome,
Yeah, they did.
Gardner. I hope you
They
better
did.
listen to this, you dirtbag. I told him, I
Oh
said,
man.
that's your guy. I said, he'll take care of you, anything you want. So
Yeah,
I hope
and
they did
and
that.
he did lean on Stray Cat, man. Stray Cat would come to me and be like, "Man, fucking Gunner, he wants this." Blah, 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 blah. I'm be
I
like, "All
told
right, whatever."
I hyped him up to like be the second coming, bro. Like I hyped
Oh, he
up
was good
Gardner
shit
when I
though. He was
left.
good
He
shit.
was, yeah, Gardner
Yeah, he
was
was good
really
shit.
good, man. No, but man, those are the times. Some of those days, man, I do miss.
Yeah, it was good
I
shit,
miss some
fool.
of those days, man. Yeah. Oh man.
Fool. But fucking regards to all that shit we were just talking about, fool, I'm there with you, bro. I'm the same way. Motivation is the fam bam and all that shit. I'm like with you. We're on the same fucking track. Same fucking track.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. I know some people are like, "Oh, it's not disrespecting these motivational speakers, but I mean, man, they're making a lot of money off of you.
Yeah.
Pretty cool to be a motivational speaker and that's another thing. It's the same concept as the fitness industry. All of a sudden, this happened a few years ago. Social media gave everybody a platform. Whether we deserved it or not, everybody has a platform. Now
Mm-hmm.
everybody can put motivational speaker in their Instagram bio or maybe on Facebook or whatever platform you use.
Yeah.
Everybody turned into a motivational speaker. And why is that? Well, because you can say the same things only so many different ways, but if you say those right things, learn and you have it in you and don't doubt yourself and yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we all yeah, we all know what to say, but man, we're human. Doubt is going to creep in. Those things creep in. So you got to kind of push through it sometimes, but everybody's saying the same thing. That's
Yeah,
why
for sure.
I don't have like a nice, I don't have a lot of, I don't care for like motivational speakers. Some of them are really good at speaking, but you better be
Yeah.
if you're a motivational speaker, man, you better be good at speaking. You
Yeah.
can't be a motivational speaker and trash at talking in front of people. Don't call yourself a motivational speaker. Yeah. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
one of my biggest things, man. It's just, it became very, watered down. The message was, the message is the same, but
Yeah, it's all redundant.
everybody's, yeah. I could be a motivational speaker. I went from
Yeah.
barely making it to doing really well for myself now. Oh, yep,
Right.
I did it. No, that's not the point. That's not how
No,
it
no,
works,
not
right?
at all.
So, yeah, man, that's my thing on the motivational speaker thing.
Yeah, cause like me personally, my motivation, like I said, is my fam and people I know, man, and like people like you, fool. Like I see you persevered through your fucking shit. Like I've been through some shit and I persevered, and the life I lived growing up and my wife, like we don't want that for our daughters. So like
Hmm.
that's we're motivated to keep grinding to provide a better life for them. And like my wife, she's a motivator for me because from when we were on deployment, man, she was working on her masters, having to take care of two daughters, get them to two different sports, fucking while doing work for school, while working a job, taking care of a house. Like she was doing a gang of shit, man. And that's just like I tell her all the time. I'm like, when she's in her own mind, like, damn, I got a lot of shit going on. I was like, man, this is nothing compared to what you had to do a few years ago when I was gone, and you had to do all this shit on the little amount of time you did. Like, you motivate me to do better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's real. Like, man, how did you do it? That's
Yeah,
real motivation. Like, man, I
hell
have
yeah,
no excuse if if I saw her doing that, I have no excuse to get up and get this done.
Yep.
There's really no excuse, right? So yeah,
Not
man,
at all, man.
that's a good point, bro. That's a good point for sure.
Fuck yeah. Fool, we have so much more to talk about, but we're gonna do that on a part 2, bro.
Oh, we get a second part.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, I
We
like
got
that.
a lot to talk about, man. So this is
Yeah.
only part 1. We've already been going for 59 minutes and 24 seconds, 25 seconds, 26 seconds right now.
Okay.
So
Did I
we're gonna
did I
wrap this up
did
right
we?
here.
All right, that sounds
Did
good,
you
man.
what? Did we what?
No. Did we beat the Gonzalo time? What
I don't
was?
know. I don't know.
I don't remember
Fool.
what that was. I'm getting a part 2 though. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
getting a part 2.
you're getting a part 2. However, I'm gonna hit your line after we get off of here, dog.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Hit me up offline.
Yeah. Yeah, offline. We're gonna do some shit offline, man. But fuck, any last shout outs you wanna do before we end part 1 of this convo with my tag team partner, Big Paul.
Nope. I ain't got nobody to shout out.
That's what's up.
Nobody. I ain't got nobody. Hey, if
Yeah.
anybody that's listening to this, man, keep supporting. Support your friends, man. It
Hell
doesn't
yeah.
take much to like something, to listen to it, to offer some feedback or constructive criticisms, and it doesn't take any effort. If you can support celebrities, you can support your friends that are just trying to make an impact, a real impact. So, dude, that's my
Fucking
shout out.
right, man.
How about that?
Hell yeah. I like that shit. I
How
like that
about that?
closing right there.
There you go.
Motherfuckers, you heard what he said? Let's go. But fucking Paul, fool, thanks for doing this episode, man. And I'm gonna hit you right after we sign off, homie.
All right, bro.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you, bro. All right, y'all later. And there you have it, folks. The sit down, or part 1 of the sit down with my homie Paul O, Big Paul. We went over some good topics, man. I really enjoyed this episode. I really enjoyed sitting down with him. We talked about motivation and social media, as always, and just where your motivation comes from, where it should come from, and just some bomb topics, man. Part 2, I'll hit you with part 2 probably, if not next week, probably later on, a couple weeks from now. Me, Paul and my other homie, Gonchi, Big Gonzalo, we got a plan in the works, so stay tuned for that, man. But that was episode 7. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. Please be sure to follow myself at Westcoast_Rob on IG, Twitter. You can search for me on YouTube as well. I have a YouTube channel. I'm slowly starting to pick back up on that YouTube thing. Kind of lost interest in it, but I'm getting back into it. So follow me on there. I'll upload podcast episodes on there as well as just stuff that has to do with my life and the stuff I want to put out. I'm not necessarily taking a lane. Just check me out on YouTube. Type in Westcoast Rob, and I'll pop up, man. But I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. Thank you guys again for tuning in and listening, as always. And like I always say, please stay OG, keep it authentic, be yourself. It's Tell Me West Coast Rob signing out. YeahDat.